I'll call the meeting to order. Would you please rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So Mary's going to do roll call. It'll sound a little bit different just because all of you are on WLFEA now, but give it a shot, Mary.
Okay. WLFEA and Valley Fire Directors, Director Burns, Director Spade,
Here.
Director Mendolia,
Here.
Director Police, Director Heppel,
Present.
WLFEA and Western Lane Ambulance Directors, Director Murphy,
Here.
Director Holbrook, Director Russell, here, Director Buss, here, and Director West.
Here. So we have quorums for SVFR, Western Lane Ambulance District, and WLFEA. For WLFEA, we need 3 from each side for the quorum, and we do make that. Yeah. Okay, is there any public comments? Yeah.
No public comments tonight.
Thank you. So tonight we have presentation by our MCR program manager, Camille Race.
Now.
Are you going by Chris?
I am Griswold now.
Did you get that, Dina?
I did.
Good evening, directors. I'm here to give you a little update on how MCR is doing. This last month, July, we had 42 calls. This is our monthly average of calls. Lane County has agreed to continue funding the MCR program. This has to be reapplied for every 6 months and show continued community buy-in. We applied for this 6-month period. SVFR and Western Lane agreed to contribute $2,500 each for the next 6 months. The next applying period, Lawrence Police has agreed to contribute $2,500 as well. I also submitted a MCR grant through Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. This is a 4-year grant, and it will allow us to have a total of 3 client advocate specialists, in an assistant manager, and bring back the outreach program. There is also possible grant opportunity for Pacific Source and Health Resources and Services Administration that we will be applying for. MCR has 3 people who have joined the MCR team, bringing our part-time staff to a total of 8 people. We have posted an opening for a full-time person, which will bring our full-time staff to 3. Program is doing great, and we encourage to see people in crisis receiving support and resources. Is there any questions or concerns?
What's the overall budget?
Right now it is, so every 6 months, it's about $166,000.
How are you getting the word out to the public about this availability of this program?
Good question. So we have flyers, we have a Facebook page now. And we're trying to do community engagement activities too that
Any articles in the newspaper?
we're going to do that too. And on the radio.
You want to talk a little bit about how it's referral based, and then I help explain that.
Oh, yeah. So if anybody in the community sees anybody in crisis having an issue, concern that they just feel like they can't get addressed right away, they can call the non-emergency police line or 911. And right now we have to respond with law enforcement for the initial contact just to make sure it's safe. But then we can kind of let them go and we kind of get into the situation after that.
And Sam, I just want the group to know too that I'm really trying to work with Boys and Girls Club to collaborate with NCR and a partnership for the kids because our mental health services are so in such deficit here in the community. So my last grant, I did incorporate NCR. It was declined, but we're going to keep trying to throw that out there and bring that around. So it's really a great partnership.
I'm actually working with ION. We're gonna make a student resource and a parent resource so that they can take it home and have the MCR resource number, the text kids number, just so they have those, in those crisis moments. They don't have to dig and look on the internet. Any other questions?
To what end do you guys provide support? I'm just curious, I'm not sure how it operates.
So we try to get the crisis, a little de-escalated. If they do have to go to the hospital, we will for sure take them to the hospital, but our whole goal is to try to prevent jail, needing to go to the hospital versus they can wait until the morning and see their primary care provider or a counselor. And if they don't have a counselor, we try to get them those resources right away. We're working with options, Nova, which is a new name, and for it changed to a new name. And then the other clinics. Yes. So we're trying to work with everybody.
So when this first started, didn't you get a grant from, I don't know if it was state or county?
Lane County.
So that's still
Mhm.
a viable grant or,
Yeah, so it just expired and I have to reapply for it every 6 months.
oh, okay, so because it was a certain number of years or so.
Three.
Yeah.
And so now it's cut back for every 6 months, you have to reapply. Well,
Yes. it is.
That's why she's looking for other sources, so.
Yeah, do you have an active program for getting other resources?
That is neat. Yeah, I'm trying to,
Western Lane Community Foundation, for example.
pardon me?
Western Lane Community Foundation, for example, that's a great resource for
Okay, Western Lane, what was that again?
Western Lane Community Foundation, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank
what
you.
about for the tribes?
We were looking for that too. Thank you.
How about the service organizations in town?
Rotary and yes, we're trying all those too. Thank you.
Talk a little bit about CST, how you guys taking that over? Or is,
Doing code 99s and code 100s.
yeah, support the fires and, yeah,
So, we go, pretty much whenever there is a code 99, there's a CPR in progress, or there's a code 100, which is a deceased person. We want to be there for the family and their support and make sure they have what they need. For structured fires, we want to make sure Red Cross is available right away, if they need, clothes, if they need a house to stay in, hotel, food, anything that they could possibly need, water, anything. We try to get that right away.
When you go to an incident like this, how are you identified? Do you,
We wear uniforms.
do you have a jacket and stuff like that too? Okay.
They'll tie in with the incident commander on all the incidents like this, so we're aware of it and they're accounted for. In fact, they help with our accountability on these things too, of our resources.
Where's your office?
Downstairs. Do you know where Lori's office was? I took her office. Yeah.
we are really short of office space, so we've got everybody crammed, get them crammed in, so.
That's not a commercial for the new office building.
That's what I mean. I was trying to be more subtle than that.
Well, Matt, do you still use both offices at both buildings?
The MIH employees taking over that previous office.
Thank you.
Thanks, Real. Good job. Consent agenda, would anybody like to take anything out of the consent agenda for discussion? Hearing none, the consent agenda is adopted. Monthly financials, Dina.
Thank you, Chief. Good evening, everyone. Well, we're looking at the first month of the new fiscal year. And all the wages and benefits are now under the authority. You'll see a few personnel service expenses on the SVFR and Western Lane reports, but they're minimal and we're working on getting the vendors changed over. Merging the payroll over from Sayusa Valley and Western Lane to the authority last month actually went better than expected. I must admit I was a little worried about it, but it went very well. all of the wages and sick and vacation accruals and payroll deductions got transferred over correctly. So I was pleased with that. Regarding the financial reports, in the past for Western Lane Ambulance, in the past, I've separated Life Med out from the report, and they've been separate reports, but tonight you will see them in the same report. And the reason for that is that in order to separate them, it takes quite a bit of work and manual entries, and it does leave room for error. So if you are okay with the way it looks, you can see Life Med under the 4600 GL code and the expenses under the 6900. They're visible, they're transparent. If you guys are okay with me leaving it that way, I'm good with it. But if you would rather see separate reports, I can do that too. What do you think?
Where's that again, Dina? I don't.
That's on the Western Lane Ambulance budget versus actual report. I believe it is on page 23 in the onboard packet.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
So middle of that page, you'll see the Life Med income under 4600. And then on the next page, you will see the expenses close to the top under 6900. They're collapsed, so you don't see all the different expenses, but Life Med does stand out in its own general ledger account.
I'm okay with it, Dina, as long as you think your auditors will buy it.
Okay. Sounds good. So I'm open for any questions if anybody has any, otherwise things are looking good.
How's the recruitment for Life Med?
We haven't made any changes as of yet, but we do have a good list of possibilities going with more exposure on Facebook and just getting the word out there. There was a lot of good comments at the board meeting last month that we will take action on. So appreciate all that feedback.
Any more questions for Dina? Yep. Thank you, Dina. So there's no old business, new business, there's a memorandum of understanding with the union. So as we expected, when we merged both contracts, that there might be some things that we have to tighten up a bit. One of those has to do with vacation approvals. Although vacations do need to be approved, it wasn't written in the contract. So we'd like to add that the chief officer needs to approve. And that becomes more important when we're looking now at both Station 1 and Station 10. We can't just look at an individual station saying, yeah, we got plenty of people here and we may not have enough at the other station. So since we move people back and forth, we thought it was important that a chief officer be involved in for the approval. And then we also had when they pick their vacation requests, and then a maximum of 3. Before we had you could have 2 off at each station, and having 4 off, that's a bit too much. So we've agreed to have 3, which is actually more than what they've had at each station before. I don't see a problem. It's picked by seniority. They pick at the beginning of the calendar year, and then if there's open spots, which there are always lots of open spots, they can just they can select vacation days. Yes, sir.
Chief, on the 30th of 111, that last sentence says request made after the 16th day of the preceding month shall not result in mandatory overtime action. What is the thing?
So when they make a vacation request, depending what our staffing is, we may have to offer that up as overtime to make sure we have minimum staff. But if they wait till the last second to tell us that they're going on vacation, we may approve it, but we may fill it with a part-time, we may fill it with a volunteer, depending, it's up to us how we feel. We're not mandated to offer that up for overtime, so it saves us a few dollars.
And it also helps with the scheduling aspect, because by the 16th, the schedule has to be released to the union. So, and if there's anything after that, it can't cause mandatory overtime. So the goal is to get the vacation request, which is usually scheduled events anyways, in a timely manner, so the schedule can be produced correctly.
So I need a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding.
So moved.
Moved
Second.
by Dr. Murphy and
Doctor? Second,
Director Spade seconded, sorry.
that's okay.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. So it passes. Thank you very much. And we'll, that has to be approved by the union, but I don't see any issues with that. Director comments. I have something.
Congratulations to Rob Shams for,
Absolutely. Looking,
Accepting his
Rob
position.
starts, September 1st. We're really excited, looking forward to having him join our management team. Not as successful with fire marshal, but,
for your potentials.
I have an internal candidate that wants to train, and I'm willing to train that person and bring them along, and similar to what we did with Tony when he started out, so, and that turned out really well.
Yeah, we left.
Yeah.
That's a
Well, it
good
always
bet.
happens. But,
How long is the training period usually, you know? Are you looking at a year or
I am
less, or?
yeah, I have to sit down with Ronnie to map out a plan, but probably a year. He'll stay on shift. And he can do the training and certification, while he's on shift. And then if that's something that he really wants to do, and I'll schedule inspections while he's on shift, and I've got some, I've been doing it, until we find somebody, but. You know, I'll go out with them and help them and bring them along as fast as we can.
And then also will the fire marshal, state fire marshal from Coos Bay come up again if we have a big one?
It's Lane County.
Lake County.
I think she does cover Coos Bay as well, Christina. Yeah, no, she's
I don't
been
know,
real.
when Tony first started, they come up and helped him on the fires.
Well, we're part of the Coos Bay Fire Prevention Coalition, Fire Marshal Coalition too, so there's a group of them down there that we can call upon for resources, but generally it's going to fall to Christina Shane. She's the Oregon State Fire Marshal for this region.
And we do have some internal, I mean, I'm a fire investigator, we have, Marlo Rivas, we have Randy Thomas that we've been bringing along, so. Yeah, if there was a fatality, we certainly have Christina come over, and then we have the down south, all those agencies. So,
I just think it's really good to see you guys do internal direct this.
oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
We're really looking to try hard to do that when we can. Other comments? So a little bit shorter than the planning commission, but as important.
Yeah.
Okay, meeting is adjourned.
All right.
Yeah.
Record
Thank-
time.
This may be a record, yeah.
No, it's